Hey, how's it going? In today's video, I'm going to be telling you why real estate is so powerful in 2024. The one thing that I'm going to be talking about in this video is I'm going to be breaking down the numbers in terms of why numerically real estate is so disgustingly powerful compared to a whole bunch of other options. The reason why I'm starting this video is because I was with the clients and they recently had a family member push back saying, "Why are you trying to buy a house?" It's a good old traditional parent wanting to buy a house for the child. A younger person does not know the power in regards to real estate. So I was there basically trying to come up with an explanation on why real estate is powerful. What I'm going to be saying right now is pretty much a more sophisticated approach in terms of breaking down numerically why real estate is so powerful and why it's such a powerful investment opportunity for a lot of people. To get us started, the one thing that you need to understand in regards to money is wherever you have money, you're usually going to have some type of return or even loss on the money. A perfect example that everyone knows is inflation. If you have $100 and the average inflation rate is, let's say, 2%, then you're losing 2% of the value of the dollars if you hold the $100 in cash and do nothing with it. When you take a look at the average checking account and the interest rate that you have for the checking accounts, from the FDIC, the average interest rate from a checking account is going to be 0.07%. That is very, very little. We're going to go ahead and almost double it and say it's just 0.1%. So for every $1,000 that you keep in your checking account, what ends up happening is after a whole year, you'll make $1 back. And the real value is 0.07%. So it ends up being, if you do the math, for every $1,500, you'll make $1 after a year just by holding that into a checking account. Now, in regards to a savings account, it is more. We're going to go ahead and round that number up to 0.5%. You're going to go ahead and just times that number by 5, and you'll get $5 for every $1,000 that you keep in your savings account. That is just an example in terms of what you get just by having a savings account or even a checkings account and just keeping your $1,000 into your bank account. Now, when we scale that up and we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, we'll keep it simple. We're just say we're gonna have $100,000. You are telling me if I had $100,000 in my checkings account, and we're gonna go ahead and assume that we're getting 0.1% in terms of the interest rate, $100 just by having $100,000 in the checkings account. Do you know how much money you could make with other opportunities, even besides real estate? That is a ridiculous amount of money and only making such a little amount of money. Now, where am I going with this? I'm just giving an example what your money is going to be doing just by sitting into your savings account. As you can see here from this graph, this is Fred, and this is basically a graph that gives you the average sales price of houses sold in the United States. Now, here's the thing. This is houses that have been sold, not the sales price, not anything else. It's the sold houses. These are tried and true numbers where a buyer saw the house, liked the price, and went ahead, put in an offer, and then paid the home. Whenever you're looking at housing data in regards to home prices, one of the most important things that you need to take a look at is the price of the homes that are sold. This is basically what real estate agents do. This is how real estate agents get their job. They compare home prices that have been sold. Even appraisers do this. So what happens? With my background in engineering, I like to do a little bit of math, and I already went ahead and did the math for us. So here, I just basically downloaded all the data and I took the average of all the data. So for every quarter, average home price increase is going to be 1.383%. Now, what does that mean? Since it's a quarter, we multiply that by 4, right? And then that will give us 5.53%. And this is actually an underestimate if you think about it. What ends up happening is if we just focus on this blue graph, that 1.383% increase is the average increase for every quarter. If we multiply that by 4 and we only assume that it's the yearly increase, we don't get the compounding effects for the quarterly increase. So we're going to go ahead and do a somewhat of an underestimate. So and multiply that by 4 and just do the annual average. It's not the exact in terms of the annual average, but is very, very close, and if not arguably an underestimate. The great thing about taking the average is this takes into account the ups and also the downs. So that is super, super important. To move forward with this example, we're going to go ahead and we live in the middle of nowhere. Okay. And we're able to find a house that is worth $100,000, decent condition, you can live in it, stay in it, do whatever you need to do. $100,000, just an example. If we assume that the average yearly increase is going to be 5.53%, that means if you buy a house for $100,000 and you keep the home and you don't do anything with it, the average percent increase in terms of the home equity that you have is going to be $5,530. When you compare that to a checkings account, oh my God, that is absolutely ridiculous. If I had $100,000 sitting in my checking account, I didn't touch it for an entire year, what ends up happening is you'll make $100. Now, if you compare that to real estate where you found a house that was worth $100,000, you bought it and you did nothing with it, you're going to be making $5,530. The reason why real estate is so powerful is simply due to the fact that when you have a property, the home is going to be increasing in value due to the property appreciation. And as you saw through the numbers that I had here, that is 5.53%. Earlier in the year when I did this exact same estimates, it was actually only 5.44%. So it changed a little bit. However, it got a little bit better. Pretty much that is why real estate is so powerful here in the United States. And I didn't even get into anything sophisticated, like what happens when we throw in a loan now. And instead of getting one house for $100,000, you get a loan and then you're able to get a house for, let's say, $300,000. That same 5.53% is going to be now appreciating in regards to the $300,000. Now, instead of getting a $5,300 return on the $100,000 that you invested, now what is happening is that you are now able to put a property that's worth more under your name and reaping the benefits of the property appreciation with an additional $200,000. So instead of making $5,000 for $100,000, you're now making $15,000 for $300,000. Now, that is the power of real estate. And obviously, there's going to be some caveats in terms of being able to structure loans, doing additional stuff. Let's say you want to rent the home or you take into account the property depreciation and all that. But also keep in mind, one of the main powerful things about real estate is that you can take deductions on your taxes. Okay. So that even helps you in regards to making more money by reducing the amount you need to pay in terms of your taxes. This is just the scratch of the surface level on why real estate is so powerful. And I hope you were able to understand why real estate is so powerful just by comparing the interest rates that you get from a bank via property appreciation across all the United States. One more note, this is for across all of the United States. When you become very, very skilled in real estate, you're going to be able to identify hotspots and you can get even higher returns in regards to their property appreciation. What ends up happening is if you are really, really skilled, you can literally get anywhere between 10 to 20% property appreciation if you're able to do it properly. And that doesn't even take into account doing any type of remodels, which is absolutely ridiculous. I hope I provided you with enough value in regards to this video. If you could do me a huge favor, like and subscribe, I will greatly appreciate it. Other than that, have a great rest of your day.